The American Yawp, Chapter 14. The American Civil War did not start as a battle for the emancipation of slaves, but gradually became one. Abraham Lincoln's narrow election, in combination with Northern resistance to comply with the Fugitive Slave Act, had left many Southerners convinced that their way of life was no longer safe within the United States. The members of a divided Democratic Party, the vehicle through which slave power had been preserved all these years, extricated many, but not all, of the Southern states from the Union via formal secession. Though Lincoln claimed secession, that is, the leaving of the United States, legally void, he took no action to halt secession until the Confederates seized federal property at Fort Sumter, South Carolina, by force. 11 Confederate states would soon wage war for the right to leave the United States and to maintain their peculiar institution of slavery, while states that remained within the Union, not all of them free, went to war to preserve the Union and defend the United States Constitution. Ultimately, it was practicality that pushed President Lincoln to accept the abolition of slavery as a central tenet of the war 3 years in 1863. The North was not uniformly supportive of the Union cause, and resistance to Lincoln's war was exacerbated by a series of military drafts that compelled young men in the North to join the war against the Confederate States of America. The fighting stretched across much of the American South and West, leaving over 500,000 American men in unfamiliar graves and injuring many thousands more. The worst fighting ever to occur on American soil was self-inflicted. The Civil War left behind a generation of orphans and widows whose lives were forever transformed. The superior armaments, technologies, and the total war tactics of the Union Army eventually crushed the spirit of Confederate rebellion in 1865. Slavery had seen its end, but the Union had been preserved only at the barrel of a gun.